Good morning, Kate here, bringing you this week's Monday Mission. And this one was another result of our poll that we had done. And it's about perfectionism. So I think this is a really great topic, one that I can speak a lot about. I like to think of myself as a recovering perfectionist. Definitely still comes up for me, but I've really done the work in understanding where it comes from for me, deconstructing it, breaking it down, and then, coming up with a process that works for me to try to go through those thoughts when they come up and how to get on the other side of it. So that's what I want to share with you today. So we will talk about what perfectionism is, what it isn't, how it may show up for you, and then, as always, what we can do about it. Okay, so perfectionism is not the same as striving to be your best, right? And I think that's actually a way for us to justify our perfectionism to ourselves is, oh, well, we just want to be the best version of ourselves. We want to be great at everything that we do. What's wrong with that? We should want to be the best, right? Those are very different things. So striving to be the best and wanting to be the best version of yourself usually ends up having you feel excited and hopeful, right? And proud and accomplished, okay? Perfectionism is really saying to ourselves, if we aren't perfect, then that says something about our worth, right? If we don't do it perfectly, that means something about us. And perfectionism often leads us feeling defeated, exhausted, right? So you can really tell by your feelings about the situation, whether it's really you're striving to do your best and improve every day, or if you're sort of following into that pattern of perfectionist thinking. So it often coincides with anxiety. It may be what we call high functioning anxiety, meaning that you can function and you can get through your life. And on the outside, you look as though you are this high achiever and you have it all together and, you're really with it. But inside, you are it's just going. The hamster wheel is just going and going and going and going. And the anxiety comes into play. Well, what if we don't do it perfectly? Okay, and then the anxious thoughts come up, and so we keep striving for that perfection, right? Which, spoiler alert, there is no such thing as perfection. So you're never really done. You never really make the goal. Okay, I remember growing up, if I would get an A on a test, I would just think, well, yeah, I'm supposed to get an A, so big deal, right? I wouldn't even celebrate things that I did well or that I accomplished because perfection means I have to get an A next time, right? It's never ending. You just keep going and you lose that ability to celebrate yourself and just really pat yourself on the back for the work that you put into it and what you accomplished, right? And meeting that goal that you had for yourself. It often stems from our worth being determined by getting things done, crossing off the list, meeting that benchmark that we set for ourselves, or even society or our family set for ourselves, right? It means that our worth is determined by other people's impression of us, our image that goes out to everyone else. And if we have this image, if we get good grades, if we get into the reputable college, if we get that high paying job, then and only then we are worthy. Other people will look at us and they'll be so impressed by what we have and what we do and all that we've done, right? It's almost like this badge of honor that if you have 8,000 plates going at the same time and you're juggling them all, it's like, look at her. Look at all that she can do, right? Look how she manages everything. And inside, we're freaking out. It's that hamster wheel going. But on the outside, we look like just picture perfect. We have it all together. We got it all under control. And to us, that means worth, right? That proves our enoughness to everyone else. But when really deep inside, we still don't feel enough, right? We're still striving to get that next thing that's going to give it to us. So perfectionism really is a false identity. It's almost, like I said, I almost wore it like a badge of honor. Like, if I'm perfect, I'm a perfectionist, so I want everything to be done right, and that makes me a worthy person. And that's my identity. My identity is that everything needs to be done perfectly and really looking like it was effortless, right? It became this identity that really wasn't me. I didn't live up to that identity or feel like I lived up to it, but it was this sense of, that's who I am. I'm a perfectionist. That's who Kate is. It was like this identity that I put out. But it's really not a true identity and truly who you are to the core. But we can kind of, project it that way. It's often negative. Perfectionism can be really take a negative toll because it really strips you of joy and feelings of accomplishment, contentment. I'm content with what I've created, what I've done, what I've accomplished. It takes away satisfaction. It takes away your presence in the moment, right? You're not enjoying the amazing birthday party that you threw or that you're having people over because you're just thinking about how everything needs to be perfect. And was it perfect enough? And what else could I have done? What should I have done? Oh my God, I didn't do that. So that means it's not perfect. And then you're not even enjoying the moment, right? And it's the fear of the what if. What if I don't do it perfectly? What are people going to think of me? What's going to happen? They won't trust me, or they won't think that I have it all together. My false identity will be challenged, right? The identity of being the perfectionist will be challenged. And then what if, what if, what if, what if? And that's again where the anxiety can come back into play. And perfectionism really outsources our self-worth. Okay, so I think perfectionism really encompasses many of the topics that we've already talked about, right? Self-worth, judgment of ourselves, our thoughts create our feelings. Perfectionism sort of encompasses a lot of what we've already talked about here. And the one I did about outsourcing, that's what we're doing when we are striving to be perfect. We are outsourcing our worth onto what we accomplish, what we check off, what other people think of us. And that's the only time where we feel like we are worthy or we are truly enough. Perfectionism often also leads us to expect perfection in others, our partner, our kids, our family, our coworkers. And then when they don't meet that expectation, that's where resentment comes in or judgment comes in. And it doesn't feel good, right? It's not a great way to be. And it's not something that's productive or healthy for a relationship to expect the other person to be this perfect being, right? When none of us are. So it can impact you that way. Perfectionism personally has led me to avoid a lot of things. I really didn't play sports. I really wasn't involved in any kind of clubs or the school play or anything really, because in my eyes, if I couldn't do it perfectly, I didn't want to do it at all. The fear of failure, which in my mind definition of failure was not being perfect at it right away, right? So I expected myself as a kid who'd never, played soccer before to be absolutely perfect at it, my first practice ever. And then if I wasn't, then I wasn't perfect. So I'm not doing that. I'm avoiding that. I'm not going to put myself in that position to feel that way, right? So it actually, I think I allowed it to take away a lot of opportunities, a lot of experiences, a lot of learning from myself because I just avoided it. I just didn't even do the thing, right? So one of the stories I can have many, but one story I think really sums up perfectionism for me is the boys' birthday parties when they were little. So for whatever reason, I had it in my mind that they had to have this Pinterest perfect birthday party, right? With the theme and the cute, clever little names for each of the foods and the goodie bags for the kids and just everything, right? I just had it in my mind that they had to be perfect. And if it wasn't perfect, they wouldn't enjoy the birthday party. They wouldn't make special memories. We wouldn't have the pictures of it. People would think I'm a horrible mother. I don't have all my stuff together. So again, that badge came. Well, yeah, sure, I can be a full-time working mom, the breadwinner of the family, raising two kids, and throw a Pinterest-worthy birthday party. Just look at me. Tell me I'm worthy because I can do that, right? So there were a lot of birthday parties that we had that way. Some that the boys probably don't even remember. And there was one time, it was the night before the birthday party, so cleaning like crazy, getting everything together, and iced tea was spilled on the kitchen rug. And I like lost it. I was like, "Oh my God, how can I not have a kitchen rug in my, or how can I not have a rug in my kitchen? People are gonna judge me." Like, it's the night before. So I ran to Target at like 9 o'clock at night, whenever they close. I ran to go buy a new kitchen rug, for which I didn't have the money at the time because we were throwing a birthday party, and just so I could have this rug in the kitchen, which I don't even think anyone commented on, right? I mean, it's just ridiculous when you say it out loud. But in my mind, I had to do that. And what's funny is, some of the best birthday parties that the boys have, like the ones that they talk about, were so after I worked kind of through these tendencies of mine and recovered from perfectionism in recovery. Some of their birthday parties are really just like, "Hey, friends, can you meet up at the pool on this day? We're going to order pizza and run around." Or, "Hey, just come, if you can, stop over at the house. We're going to let the kids just run around with squirt guns and just play on the playground, and that's it." And those were some of the best parties that the boys remember, right? So it's realizing what your end goal is, right? Is your goal, what you want for them is to enjoy their party and remember it and have fun with their friends? Then yeah, have pizza and squirt guns, right? If your goal is to have picture perfect birthday parties that you can post about and get accolades from other people as to how do you do all of it, right? Are you really making the memories that you're telling yourself that you're doing all of this to make, right? So, what do we do about it? And I want to kind of point out too that I judged myself for wanting to be perfect, right? There was a lot of shame around it for me. Like, why do you have to be like this? And, why are you like this? Why are you the way that you are? And what I came to realize is that perfectionism is a survival technique for all of us. It is a technique, not all of us, but those of us that experience it. It is a technique that we created to get love, um, feel like you belong, feel seen, right? Which are all the things that all humans want and need, right? So, for whatever reason, the way you were raised, or the messages that you received, or just how you interpreted the messages that you experienced growing up, you thought and made the connection that if I'm perfect, if I overachieve, if I check off the list, I get attention, I get acceptance, I get love, I get belonging, right? So you're not a horrible person because you developed this. It was your survival technique. It worked for you. It worked at the time to get those things, right? But now we're done. It's not working for us anymore. It's not productive. It's not who we want to be, right? And we want to just remind ourselves that our worth exists simply because we're human. We are worthy because we were born. We don't need to earn it from throwing a Pinterest-worthy birthday party, right? That your kid won't even remember. So what do we do about it? As always, we be curious and we create awareness. Okay, so we say, like, why? Why are you thinking this? What is it that you truly want to get from this birthday party, or this accomplishment, or this degree, or this particular job, or whatever it is? What is it for you? What are you really looking for? So asking yourself why, all over and over and over again until you get to the answer. And we have to choose that new thought. Okay, so if you think about our pattern, that our thoughts create our feelings create our behaviors, and our behaviors create our results, right? If the thought is, I'm only worthy if I'm perfect, okay, then the feeling is going to be some anxiety, but it's that, I have to be an overachiever. I'm going to overachieve. I need to do this, right? So your behavior is you check off all the boxes, you do the accomplishments, you go above and beyond. And then the result is that you get the praise. Okay, and then the praise reinforces the thought that you need to be perfect to be worthy, and it's just this whole cycle. So we have to choose the new thought, right? The thought from, I need to have a Pinterest-worthy birthday party to be a good mom, can switch to, I want my child to enjoy their birthday party. What would that look like? Then maybe we ask the child what they want and what food they want for their party and what they want to do and all of those things, right? It changes the pattern. But remember, those patterns those beliefs, the belief I have to be perfect to get to feel worthy, okay? That is a thought that you've had over and over and over and over again, so it's become a belief. And in my case, it's a thought that I had for what, 30 years? So that thought pattern is going to be difficult to change and to interrupt, but it's so important that we do it, that we do the work to, oh, I know what you're doing here. Let's revisit it. Choose a different thought so that you can have a different result. And then we need to have compassion for ourselves. Okay, so just reminding yourself, hey, perfectionism worked for me, right? It got me the things that all humans want: love, belonging, attention, acceptance, okay, feeling enough, feeling like you're enough, feeling like you're worthy. Perfectionism gave that to me, but it's no longer working, right? It's a technique that is no longer working. I'm not broken. I just need to find a new technique, right? And coming from a place of a new identity, right? So when perfectionism gives us that false identity, let's look at the identity that we truly want to have, okay? And come from that place, which is when you are listening to your intuition, you're writing down what your values are, and you're coming from a place of values and wanting to have those values in your life, rather than a place of fear. Oh my God, if I don't do A, B, and C, what's going to happen? What are they going to think of me? Okay, that's what perfectionism is. That false identity is, it's coming from a place of fear, and we want to come from a place of love and self-compassion. Okay, easier said than done, I totally get it, but that's what we need to do. So that is your mission, should you choose to accept it, is when those thoughts come up for you, when you're not even enjoying the birthday party because you're too worried about it being perfect, ask yourself why has this come up for you? Maybe what was your upbringing, or what messages did you receive or kind of interpret that made you think that way? And then challenge the thought. Come from a place of love and self-compassion instead of that place of fear of what if I'm not perfect? Because spoiler alert, nobody is. All right, have a great day. As always, share with me anything that comes up for you, and we'll talk soon.